In this video, I'm going to be comparing two of the largest battle royales in the world against each other. We're going to start with Fortnite, and we obviously have Warzone, and we're going to go side by side. We're going to start off talking about performance, then we're going to talk about the developers, we're going to talk a bit about hacking, we're going to talk a lot about the competitive scene, and I'm going off the top of the dome here, off my memory and off a few posts that I just read on Reddit, and a few documents, a few forums, stuff like that. Let's get straight into it. So the performance on Fortnite is very good compared to the performance on Warzone. Even though a lot of the Fortnite community still complain about performance and the game doesn't run right, they just haven't played Warzone to know what it's truly like to play a game that's not optimized for a competitive scene. Let me just talk a bit about my frames in Fortnite. Currently I play on a 2080 Super and I run it overclocked. So when I play Fortnite, I play 280 FPS per second, and that very rarely dips when I play creative. If I play pubs, it floats around 240, 260, and if I'm streaming. So I'm getting 280 frames while streaming, playing creative, and I get less than a 5 millisecond input delay with about 30 to 40 ping because I do stream in 2K. So imagine all of that pressure on my graphics card to stream in 2K while I'm playing Fortnite at 280 FPS and I don't even drop frames. That's pretty insane, and most people don't have a 2080, they have a lower tier card, so they would also be getting really good frames. And then there's Warzone's performance, and I even play on a way higher overclock to get more frames in Warzone because I'm struggling that much. And yes, I said I'm struggling with a 2080 Super and it's overclocked. When I first booted up Warzone after a fresh download the other day, I was getting about 90 frames, and that wasn't even consistent. I was dropping to 20 up to 80, and obviously, you know, most games don't run solid when you take them out of the box, you know, just in theory. Obviously it's a digital download, but what I had to do was optimize it. So I spent 2 or 3 hours optimizing this game to get an inconsistent 120 frames, and as of now I have a problem where my frames drop all the way down to 0. And just being advised, I'm not streaming, I don't have any other software open while playing Warzone, and it's exclusively in full screen with all of the most insane optimizations. Literally, I had to install so many FPS packs to get this working, and the game still runs terrible. And I'm sure most of you boys that do play Warzone understand what I'm talking about. It's literally better to play it on console than play it on PC. And that's just not fair, because I spent €3,000 on a PC to play Warzone in 280 frames where I can't even do that. Now, that's just a typical scenario. I'm sure there's a lot of people who've swapped to PC thinking they're getting better frames, when it turns out they were getting more consistent frames over on their PlayStation 4, which is worth €500, and their new PC is worth €3,000, and it just doesn't make sense. So hopefully with the launch of Vanguard, they do decide to put a lot of resources into building up their performance. Currently, I do believe that Warzone is running on DirectX 12, and I had to actually revert that to run it on DirectX 11 for even better performance, because the DirectX 12 is still in beta. So if we were to look at the competitive scene for both games, you'll find that Fortnite definitely has a more prominent competitive community, as there's tournaments literally every day. I would argue that there's at least 5 tournaments in Fortnite every single week. Now that's a lot of money that Epic Games are throwing out to keep that competitive scene going. If you think about it, how much money have they really put into competitive? Because obviously they have to pay and rent for server space, so that way people can actually play on those servers that have better performance than your standard arena lobby or your public lobby. On top of that, they actually have the rewards that they have to donate and give out to everybody who wins in their tournaments. And you're having something like, you know, 5 tournaments every week for the last 4 years. On top of that, you've got FNCS, one of the biggest, you know, competitive scenes all around. You know, forget about Fortnite, a lot of people tune in to watch that. There is no official tournaments when it comes to Warzone. I am aware that there is a whole scene for competitive, but it's not official, it's not run by Warzone. I do understand that you have the Call of Duty League in multiplayer, but in Warzone there is 0 battle royale competitive scene. It's all privately hosted, and sometimes there is collaborations, but it's all for the big content creators such as your Nick Mercs or your Tim the Tatman, and nobody can just queue into it the way you do in an arena game or in a competitive private lobby. And then when it comes to scrims, if you want to practice for Fortnite, you just look in a Discord, you find a code, you put it in, and you're into a fully stacked lobby with other players who are trying to practice, meaning it's a lot more competitive. On Call of Duty, you don't have that. You don't have custom lobbies. The closest you have to a custom lobby is for me to add people on your friends list and get them in to play with you. That's as simple as it is. So we're going to change the topic for a quick minute and talk about the effort that the developers are putting in to maintain a good, healthy game. And in Warzone's case, it's not good. Like, for example, I started YouTube a year ago playing Warzone. Literally, I was really good at it. I was enjoying the game. It was fun until people started hacking. And now there's always been a hacking community in Fortnite, but it has never been this bad ever. And there's simply because there's no anti-cheat. Fortnite, on the other hand, does have an anti-cheat. Every time you load up the game, it does a background scan to see that there's no software open that could actually hack the game. And therefore, there's very minimal hackers in Fortnite, and if there is, they usually get insta-banned within a few games or instantly on the spot as soon as they load into a game. On Warzone, there is no anti-cheat currently. They are working on the Ricochet anti-cheat, which will come with the launch of the new Call of Duty, which I will be pre-ordering and playing here on the channel, so make sure you definitely subscribe to see that. But staying on topic, there is currently no anti-cheat, and the developers decided to leave it that way for a whole year. I have not played Fortnite in a year simply because there's no anti-cheat, because I do not want to die to somebody who is hacking me from across the map while I'm 300 meters in the sky and I get one headshot sniped and I'm just dead, you know? Nobody wants to play that, and that's why they lost a big chunk of their community and they moved to like gooder games like Apex Legends, Battlefield, your Overwatches, Splitgate for a minute, and obviously Fortnite. So why would you play a game and want to go competitive and make a living off a game that simply does not optimize the game for that? There's no performance, therefore you're going to be lagging all the time. The servers are completely trash in my opinion. I get 40-50 ping in Warzone. I hop onto Fortnite, I play creative, I get 15 ping. Even in a pub, I'll get 20 ping, and that's while I'm streaming. So the game is just on a completely different playing field, and you can't really compare the two. I do understand that Fortnite is a third-person shooter and Warzone is a first-person shooter. Now I feel like I've shit on Warzone enough, so I'm going to try and flip it, and I want to look at one specific asset that Call of Duty has as a whole that's way better than Fortnite, and that's their whole loadout system. I really enjoy the loadout system in Call of Duty because you can really personalize the weapons to match your playstyle. In Fortnite, it's kind of the opposite. You have to adjust your playstyle to the weapons you're using. For example, if the pump is meta, you kind of have to use it. Whereas in Call of Duty, there will be a meta weapon, but there's multiple meta weapons. There's not one assault rifle that's better than them all. You can adjust different guns and make them all meta depending on the attachments you're using. And especially with Vanguard coming out, you're going to have guns from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Cold War, and Call of Duty Vanguard all in the one loot pool. That's 3 games worth of loot in the same loot pool, and there's going to be constant buffs and constant nerfs every other week, meaning the meta is constantly spicing up. Now that is going to be a lot of fun when there's no hackers in the game. They do updates like that right now, but the thing is there's hackers all the time and it's just not fun. You know, you can't adapt to a meta when you're fighting a hacker. Like, what are you meant to do when he knows what corner you're hiding behind and he can just wall hack you and shoot through the wall? All stuff like that just makes the game unfun. But if Fortnite was to implement a system like that, where you could put a scope on your SCAR, when you could put a laser on your pump shotgun, I think that would be very fun. And now I don't think you should just, you know, pick your pump and that's it. I feel like maybe integrated with the chest system, every chest drops some sort of attachment, and you could have attachments that range from, I would say, grey all the way up to blue. And for example, if we stick with the laser, if you had a grey laser, it would shorten your crosshair and make it much narrower. But if you had a blue laser, it would make it even more narrower. You get what I mean? So that way the rarity affects it more. So if you put a scope on your SCAR, you don't actually look through the scope the way you would a sniper scope or a scope they are. All it does is it reduces your bloom, making it, I guess, a less RNG based. I know it does still technically mean it's RNG based because you're relying on RNG to get the laser, but it means when you're in a fight to fight scenario, it's not RNG based, or it's not as RNG based because it requires more skill to use a gun when it's not random shots going all over the place because of the way bloom works. Let's talk about one more thing before I end this video, and that's the fact that Warzone would be so much better if they implemented a performance mode that Fortnite has. Fortnite's performance mode is absolutely insane, and if you play PC, you understand what I'm talking about. Input delay 10 times better, and all sorts of like other stats like your frames, your consistent frames, your ping, everything is way better. But on Warzone, there's nothing like that, and if there was, it means that you could separate casual players that just like playing the game from competitive players that really want that FPS boost. So if you just turned on an FPS boost, you could get way more frames and the whole community wouldn't be complaining, because they are okay with getting less visual graphics. They are okay with not getting grass. They're okay with a wall just being yellow and not having a brick detail, because they want to get more frames. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would play it and be grateful for it, rather than just one generic graphic system that you can play on, and that's that. You either have a good enough PC to run it or you don't. The likes of Nick Merckx, who does play on a 3080 and streams with a separate PC, can only stretch to get around 160 when he's live, and that's with his second PC streaming, meaning that his main PC with a 3080 in it is only getting him about 160 FPS. And you know, he would have an overclocked system. His system would be fully optimized for him by, I guess, his staff, his managers. I'm not really sure, but you get what I'm saying. It's like it's two different games and you can't really compare them. I just wanted to give my thoughts on it and look forward to Vanguard. And when Vanguard drops, there's going to be a lot of content on Vanguard here on the channel. We already know we're sticking with Fortnite. We're going with Fortnite all day long. There's going to be 4 Fortnite uploads per week and 3 Call of Duty uploads per week, along with my streams. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. With that said, I'll see you in the next one.